Hi guys, Jenny from On Fire Fit, and we're going to do some chair exercises today. I have some people that join me for this, and I wanted to take you through a sequence of exercises. I'll do some inside my house and some in my backyard, and all you really need are a couple water bottles if you want. Mine are freezing cold, so these are not going to be fun to grip during this exercise sequence, but that's okay. If you do have light weights or weights that you want to use, please go ahead and use them, but I didn't want you to have to go buy equipment necessarily. So water bottles will work, or cans. Maybe I'll get some cans since those are really too cold. And then I am using a dish towel, or you could use a hand towel for some of the exercises. So I hope you'll join me. Come along with me.
Okay, get into a chair, sit forward so your back is not up against it, shoulders back and a very straight back. You don't want to hunch over. Hold that hand towel in front of you and get ready. So you're pulling your abs in at the same time that you're pulling that towel back towards your chest and lifting your knees. So you are more than welcome to do one or the other to start with if you're not real coordinated, but the combination of these kind of works legs and chest and upper back all at the same time. Now we're going to take the towel overhead and pull it down. The legs are continuing with alternating knee lifts, so just continue with the same lower body but pulling down overhead. When you're doing this, put some tension on that towel, and that's when you're going to start to feel a little bit of resistance, which the towel is really mocking a pair of weights. If you had a pair of weights, go ahead and use those instead, but the towel will give you some resistance. Now, I want you to do this next part carefully. You are going to feel like you're really sucking in your abs, or like somebody punched you in the abs as you lean forward, putting tension on that towel, but you're really carving out your abs while you're leaning forward here. So if you can't go that far, don't worry about it. Just make it a little miniature version of it. But this works your core as well, and just kind of gives your back a little bit of a break too. We like to work our muscles in different directions. And guess what? We're going to repeat the whole sequence, starting with the knee lifts and that chest press. Pull that towel apart so that it is providing some tension as you're doing those knee lifts. Okay, now get those cans or water bottles or weights, and we're going to work the chest and the upper back again. You're going to take those arms wide and just pull the weights or cans or bottles together. At the same time, I am rolling up onto my feet on my toes. So you can go to the balls of your feet or your toes, but just kind of keep the legs tight to each other and rolling up, keeping your back really straight and pulling your abs in. So a lot of these things are working your core because of your posture. If you lose that posture and start to roll forward with your shoulders, then you aren't getting the whole benefit of this. And a lot of these things are not really hard or heavy weights, but because we're doing it with proper form and repetitively, it ends up working your body in a really nice balanced way without hurting yourself. So now I changed the position of my hands so that my palms are facing the ground and I'm pulling the elbows back. The feeling that I kind of go for is the idea that I'm wrapping my wings around my spine. So that upper back, those shoulder blades, try to wrap them around your spine. And this is going to work your chest as well as your upper back, which is especially good for people that do desk jobs. Now let's go with some kicks forward to get you started, and then we'll add the upper body. And overhead press, pulling the elbows down, and you continue with the legs. Sometimes it's easier to start with one and then add the other one in. Otherwise, you are getting all uncoordinated. Everything is the same except now my palms are facing each other, and continue on. Right about now, your posture is probably not the best, so readjust and sit up straight. This is your mini break, and then now we restart. All right, ready for some legs and glutes. This is a squat with a bicep curl, and you want to sit back almost to the point of sitting down in the chair, but then you come right back up. The best way to do this so that you don't hurt your knees is to put all your weight back in the heels of your feet, and I actually kind of pop my toes up so I don't forget that the weight needs to go back into my hamstrings and glutes. If you end up grabbing the ground with your toes, then you will probably be feeling this in your knees, and we don't want that. Now you are going to hover over the chair and continue with the bicep curls. This should cause a burning feeling, which is good if it is in the muscle, but never in your joints. Now go back to the squats and bicep curls, continuing to pull your abs in, keep your back nice and straight. Try not to let your upper body, your shoulders, and upper back roll forward, and really feel your abs pulling in to protect that lower back. This next one is going to work your obliques, which is those side abdominal muscles, and also your shoulders and your legs. So you're going to do a long reach over your head. I kind of feel like a rainbow feeling where you're making an arc with that arm, and then have that elbow go right behind your thigh. And let's turn it around and do the other side. All right, we are ready for calves on fire. You are going to keep your knees straight and just roll up to the balls of your feet. Go ahead and turn and face a chair and roll up, keeping your abs pulled in and your lower back tucked with your abs controlling it. Now you can add a little plie, so you're just bending your knees and letting your heels roll from the ground up. Okay, take your right leg and extend it behind you. You'll have to make some adjustments how far away from that chair you are. Lift it a few inches off the floor and with a pointed foot, pull it into your glutes and try to just keep the knee and the thigh stable and steady here. That part doesn't need to move, just from the knee joint down. Now flex your foot and do the same thing. By the way, while I'm doing this, I've got my abs pulled in tight to protect my lower back so that my back isn't arching and I don't feel any pain in my lower back. Switching sides, use your left leg to pull that left foot into your glute with a pointed toe, and then we will switch to the flexed foot. I hope you felt that because I sure did. All right, here we go. Face your chair with a wide stance. So I keep my legs pretty wide apart and I go down into a pulsing plie, which is just bent knees with your back straight. Your abs are pulled in, your tailbone is tucked under, your chest is lifted. And you can take it as deep as feels okay for you. You don't want to hurt your knees. And the whole time that you're doing this, your knee should feel like it's tracking over your center toe, not your big toe, because otherwise you're going to start to feel it in your knee or your ankle, and we don't want that. So this is supposed to work your thighs and glutes if you're doing it right, and even your core if you are maintaining that good posture. Now let's continue with a straightening of the knees and back down into that plie. You can see why I like to have my legs wide, because it really protects your knees. If your feet are too close together, you're going to start to feel that in your knee joints, and we really want this to go into your muscle only. Now we are going to start a pulse down and a straightening. So pulse down for 3 counts and then straighten for 1. 1, 2, 3, straighten up. 1, 2, 3, straighten up. Continue on with that pattern, continuing to keep your tailbone under, abs pulled in, chest is lifted tall, knees tracking over the center toe. And you should be feeling that hopefully in the legs and your booty. Now we're going to pulse down for 7 counts and come up for 1 count. So that's going to be a little harder. We won't do as many, but give it a try. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Straighten 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Straight. I call it 7 up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up. Good job, everybody. Next, we are going to do another work on the upper back. You're going to get really to the edge of your chair and lean forward, but pull your belly in. And you're just going to take those cans, bottles, whatever you have, if you have weights, and pull up, trying to wrap those wings around the spine. Really important that you keep your back in one long line, kind of like a board, from your head all the way down to your tailbone, so that you're really protecting your back. If you bend forward, it's going to hurt in your back. So here we're pulsing for 3 and then come down for 1. Lift 1, 2, 3, come down for 1. 1, 2, 3, come down for 1. Continue on. Okay, grab your towel. I know this looks weird. It's kind of an odd looking thing, but you do actually feel it in your upper body, and you're kind of cycling your arms, and you can roll them up and roll them back down. And as you're doing this, you just want to have tension on that, and it will work your upper body. I also have my feet going, if you didn't notice, and I'm just kind of popping each knee up as I'm doing the upper body, but you could leave that part out if it's just too much to coordinate. Okay, take that towel up overhead, put some tension between your hands. And now we're just rotating side to side, and this should mostly be working your obliques, which is those side abdominal muscles. Just continue with that, take the range of motion, whatever feels okay for you. You don't want to do anything that hurts your back. This next one is kind of a scoop and a lift overhead. And again, this is working all different kinds of muscles in your body. And if you're not too self-conscious, go ahead and do it with me. You're just really rotating through the waist, scooping up and overhead, scoop up and overhead, and it will work all those muscles and also stretch out your back. I know you're not ready for this, but give it a try anyway. Arms are up overhead, tension between the hands, and we start jumping the feet wide and then pulling them back in. And it's really important that you pay attention to posture here. Your abs are going to feel this. It is actually a whole lot more about your abs and core than it is about your legs, although that part hurts too when you do it right. But really important to sit tall and not to lean forward or let your shoulders roll forward. This little towel motion up and down is just increasing my heart rate, so it gives you a little cardio as well. If you can't do both legs at the same time, go ahead and just do one at a time. It'll start to build up that strength. Just when you thought you got out of jumping jacks, now we found a way to make seated jumping jacks. This leg exercise is a little harder than it would appear. You're gonna get to the edge of your seat and hold on to your chair. Extend that leg out and just rotate it out to the side and then bring it back in. I don't know how many you're gonna be able to do, but it really burns. You can see the look on my face as I'm doing this. After you feel that burn, go ahead and switch to the other leg. You might not be able to do a whole lot, but it will be strengthening your legs. Okay, enough of that. Wow. Now we get dessert, which is the stretch. You see my leg extended out here with my toes popped up, and my back is leaned forward, but I'm in a long straight line. Put your hands on your thigh and just lean into the stretch. You should feel that through your hamstring, and really depending on how flexible you are, depends on how far forward you can lean, but it's not really as important as just keeping everything lined up and not letting yourself roll forward too much. You just want to feel a stretch through that hamstring. Switch legs here. Now I'm just going to show you this one in a couple different positions. You're crossing that leg over. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see which direction, whatever makes more sense to you. But you're crossing that leg over and you're just kind of increasing the stretch through your hip if you're able to do this, and just leaning forward a little bit. I'll feel this in my right hip when my right leg is crossed, and obviously the left hip when my left leg is crossed over. And just take it easy. Don't push too hard. You know your limit, and just take it as far as you can. You probably also noticed that the foot on the floor, I am up in releve or up on the ball of my foot. I feel like I get more of a stretch through my leg, my hip doing that, but you can certainly keep that foot flat on the floor as well. Thanks for coming along with me today. If you like this kind of video, I would love it if you gave me a thumbs up so I know, and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, stay on fire and really love your life, build up that strength and enjoy.